welcome to Tea Time with Miss Liz. That's right. And tonight we're doing an evening tea with my good friend and sister and a change maker. That's right. Michele Noordhof is an amazing lady. And I got to meet her while I wrote in an anthology called The Sacred Hearts Rising, Breaking the Silence. Now I'm going to read a little bit on Michele, and then Michelle's going to come on in and share her cup of strong tea with all of us. And we're just going to sit back and get to know each other because it's been a long time. I think it's been like 3 years since we've gotten to see each other in person. So
Yes.
we really have a lot to share tonight on Tea Time. So Michele Noordhof is an international best-selling co-author and motivational speaker. Her first attempt at suicide was at the age of 12, was a poor one. But the emotions behind it and the belief system she had about herself was very real. Today, Michele shares openly her journey from suicide survivor to life thriver. As a lifelong learner, always in self-discovery, she doesn't pretend that she has arrived, but leads by example as she shares her authenticity for her own journey. Recently, Michele, alongside a songwriter musician from the UK, wrote the songs for Stay Here, Stay Now, which we will be talking about later on in the show. Release date is September 3rd, 2021. Her desire is that her message will touch the hearts of others so they too can find their way through the challenges they face in life. If something she says or writes helps even one person to keep going and keep living, then she will consider her work successful. Michelle's favorite color is purple, so that's why you see Miss Liz in purple tonight and drinking from a purple teacup. She has co-authored in two-time international best-selling authors books, anthologies, Sacred Hearts Rising, Breaking the Silence, One Story at a Time, as I mentioned, and Silent, One Story at a Time, 365 soulful messages, the right guidance at the right time. International co-lyric, Our Connection, and Stay Here, Stay Now. And for more on Michele, you can check out her website, which I'll bring up shortly in the conversation. So Michele, thank you so much for joining me. It's been forever since I've seen your beautiful face. So could you share your story on how it all began and where you are today and what you do today?
Liz, first of all, I just want to say thank you for the platform that you have done and who you are as a person. And we talk about world changers. And for me, you're an incredible world changer, and you have been an incredibly important part of my life journey. And yes, we got an opportunity to meet each other through both being authors in the same book and having the opportunity to go to a summit and meet in person. And I think that each one of us through every stage of our life, as we look to find those that we can walk alongside of to support one another, makes a huge difference in how each of us moves forward in our own lives and our own experiences, and how we take what our life experiences have been and try and, create that positive change in the world. And so I just want to say thank you to you and who you are, and so how grateful I am for you. And so I think I'll start with where we connected, and that was the opportunity to be in Sacred Hearts Rising, the first book. And why this is important for me is the fact that I, for the first time, put into writing my story and my journey and my growing up years, my life experiences, and the belief system that I had about myself for most of my childhood and my adult life. I guess starting around the age of 2 or 3, there was already experiences coming into my life that was creating a belief system that I started to have. And so treatment that I had growing up started to create words. And some of those words were shame, guilt. I remember being 4 years old and my mom telling me that I was a dirty girl and scrubbing me till I was raw. And so as I know now as an adult that there was things that happened at that time, I'm very blessed that my mind has chosen not to reveal all of that. And I don't feel that I need to have a better understanding of myself. I also learned at a very young age that everything that I would do would be wrong and I would never do anything right. I also felt unloved, unworthy, and a whole host of other words that started to create a person. And everything that I did would be within the terms and conditions of those words in that belief system. And so coming into adulthood, maybe I should go back a little bit. At the age of 12, yes, that was my first attempt to suicide. And it was a very poor attempt. But the emotions that I felt behind that attempt was very real. And it added to the layers of the words, because not only did I tell myself that I was a failure because I didn't do a very good job, I was also terrified if my mother ever found out, because there was going to be worse consequences. And so I started to really come into a snowball effect of what I was creating within this belief system that, was more beyond the thoughts in my mind. It was also in my heart. And the deeper that it became in my heart, the more that I struggled with, do I choose to live or do I choose not to live? And by the time I hit my late teens, I honestly believed that the world didn't need me. And in fact, that the world would be a better place without me. And so at 17, another attempt. At 19, another attempt. I think what's significant about the one at the age of 19 was feeling this incredible peace that I was going to be a success. I was going to go to sleep and I would never wake up again. And I was excited and I was happy. 2 days later, I was devastated when I woke up, because once again, I had been a complete failure. And so I walked through my 20s and my 30s and even my 40s wearing a mask of pretending that everything was okay, when really it wasn't, because I held on to all of these words that had created an old belief system. And even into my 40s, the place that I worked at, someone recognized the signs and did an intervention. And they felt fantastic because they really wanted to help, and they committed and agreed with me that I would continue to live. But I died a worse death every single day, because every day was the constant going on inside my head and heart of this incredibly horrible belief system. And I waited for, gee, could tomorrow be my last day? Please, going to be my last day. And it went on and on. And then one day, a woman came into my life, and she was a cancer survivor. She was going through treatments and she was going through multiple diagnoses, but every single day she woke up with this belief that it was a great day because she woke up on this side of the grass, and she absolutely loved life. I couldn't understand it, but I started to pay attention and watch her. And then she introduced me to one of her best friends who was also struggling with cancer. And the two of these women together started to create a foundation for me that, at least until I could start to believe for myself, my value, that I could start to learn the importance of living, because it meant so much to them. And I think my first step to moving forward was through, as much as I couldn't understand how much they wanted to live and how much I wanted to die, I couldn't dishonor their desire to live by choosing to die. And sometimes that's just where we end up as a foundation till we can start to figure out how we're going to rewrite our story. And so I started to rewrite my story January 2017, when I opened up a chapter of Women Talk in my hometown of Okotoks. And it was through that journey where I met everyone that was involved with the book Sacred Hearts Rising, and agreed to share my story and my chapter in that book. And then I was given the opportunity to speak at the summit that happened early in 2018, and getting to meet you in person. Of course, even in the time from January 2017 to April 2018, there was a lot of things that occurred. And so as I started to rewrite my story, and I started one word at a time, creating a new belief system. And it's September 2017, Women Talk, and I'm super excited. I'm up to the stage and I'm going to share my story for the first time. And I'm feeling fantastic because I think I might like living. And I was, at a place of awe, I think, because I could start to see glimpses of who I really was outside of all the voices and all the messages that had created the old belief system. And so actually that evening, I had invited a friend of mine to come and hear me share my story for the first time. She couldn't. We made a promise that we would connect and we would have a conversation and catch up. I hadn't seen her in a couple years. Next month, I got another opportunity to share my story again from the stage. And I once again invited her. And as life would have it, she wasn't able to come that night. A few days later, I got the news. I had a friend of mine call me and say, "You're not going to believe this. Aggie just committed suicide." And so off of this incredible high from sharing my own story for the first time and how I was starting to rewrite my story, I got hit with this and I started to wonder if my story even mattered, because if I couldn't save the life of a friend, like what was the point? And I started to go through, I think, all the typical questions that most people do ask. Well, how could I have not known? Could I have made a difference? I should have been there and I wasn't there. And we create these stories around being on the other side of the fence for losing someone to suicide. And I struggled with it for quite a while. But my girlfriend had said to me, she asked me, she said, "Well, what do you think of Stars Air Ambulance?" And I'm like, well, they do a good job. They rescue people. And yeah, they're like fantastic. And I'm looking at her like, I don't know the point of this. And then she asked me the next question. She says, "Do you think Stars Air Ambulance saves every single person that they attempt to help?" I said, "No." And then she asked me the big question. What would have happened if Stars Air Ambulance stopped helping after they lost their first patient?
Wow.
And I sat in that for a period of time. And I had to assess of where I fit into the picture of Aggie's story. And what I realized is that Aggie's story was hers and hers alone. As much as my story is mine and mine alone, and your story is yours and yours alone. And that I needed to be okay to accept the decision that she had made, that she felt that was best for her. And that there wasn't a place for judgment. There wasn't a place for me to self-sabotage. There wasn't a place for anything than just to simply love her. And once I got to that place, I was able to let her go and just sit in that place of peace, of knowing without judgment that I just simply loved her. And it was in that moment that I was reminded that I had saved a life, and that life was mine.
See, that's powerful, Michele, because on that journey, you found yourself as well. You found your strength. And I believe that things happen in our lives for us to carry on, for us to be that voice that can't be the voice. So I honestly think that Aggie's story is a part of your story and is a part of you, because you're giving a voice. You're still here. You're still standing. You tried, but you're still here because you matter and you're making a difference. Like, you changed my life. You impacted my life. Like, you were one of the first authors that reached out to me and said, "Hey girl, you're coming down here. I want to meet you." Like, I really, really was honored on how fast, like I was really surprised on how fast our connection really grew. Like right from the get-go, we had that connection. And
Yes.
there was you and Holly that really connected with book one. And even to this day, me and Holly, she gives me a kick in the butt sometimes, and she says, you know what, let's get out of that and pick it up, let's go, because that's not who you are. So we've really met incredible people by sharing our stories. But what has sharing your story done for you, Michele?
I think for me, first of all, was that it has freed me from the prison that was created in my story. There's a period of time, I was probably maybe late 30s, early 40s, and I thought I would go back to my childhood home. And it was a home that I lived in up to the age of 7. And it's fascinating how you go back to these homes when you're grown up. Like I can, remember what my bedroom was like in the kitchen and the living room, and in the eyes of a very young child of, 5 and 6, coming back into this house as an adult. And I was fortunate because someone I grew up with lived in the home. And so they opened the door to allow me to walk through the home and just kind of relive a part of that time. My bedroom was actually only the size of a laundry room. So, all of a sudden little things started to go in perspective. And I walked the house because I had such incredible fear and incredible sadness around that entire home. And so I walked through it and tried to come with terms and with things. And there was a few things that kind of, seemed to be, okay, I can let this go. Maybe I can move on to the next step, but not always does everything happen all at once. And so that particular day, as I left the house, and give you kind of a capture of the house, it's a old 2-story house that sits on top of a hill, and the driveway that will take you to the main road is about 3/4 of a mile long, of course.
Oh my goodness.
So it's quite a long drive. And so I'm in my vehicle, I'm leaving the house, and I'm trying to sort and think through all of the jumble of emotions I'm going through. And I look into my rearview mirror and I see my 4-year-old self banging and screaming at the second story window, needing to be saved.
Wow.
And I sobbed uncontrollably that day because I didn't know how to save her. And so that is something that I still work on each day. But what I'm trying to, at this place in my life, is to be conscious of that snapshot of who Michele is as that 4-year-old child. And I'm working very consciously to reach back into my past and to speak into her the messages that should be heard to her, all the things that were not said to her, and to rewrite her story right back to who I was, who she is at that point in time. And I'm working to take her hand and bring her forward with me, and that together that we're going to, move forward. And where that's important, and what I've learned from that, is it has to be very conscious, regardless of our emotions, to change the rewiring of our story, because when we first start, especially, we're not going to believe this new story. And so sometimes you just have to say, well, I don't really believe it, but I'm going to accept it for now until I can believe it. And so what I do now and what I'm working on, and actually I'll be doing a project in the coming weeks, it's a I am 21-day affirmation journey.
Oh, I like that.
And it's going to consist of 21 different I am words or messages that speak to me, that I believe that will speak to others, and that on a daily basis that we will come together And we'll start to consciously speak those words into our lives and replace what's there. One of the things for me, what I realize now, was external validation has been a very strong influence of the person that I am today. And so as long as I listen to anything that's on the outside of me, it's going to impede the message that I need to create from within. And so I've been really consciously working to tell myself what I need to know from within. And when things come to me from the outside, if it's something that supports, that I say thank you with gratitude and I accept it as an affirmation. And so now things coming to me as affirmations rather than validations is also changing how I view the world. And now that it's, for me, a choice to live. And so where I started as a suicide survivor, I am now a suicide thriver, because I recognize that there was a lie that was told in this world to me about the world not needing me and that the world would be a better place without me. And through what I tell myself now is that the world needs me, the world needs you, and the world needs every single person that is either listening to this message live now or will listen to the replays. I think that's one of the largest lies that we're told, is that we're not needed. And we are. This world doesn't exist without us.
I believe that too, Michelle. And I see why we connected so well, because our inner child, right? It's that reprogramming of what we were told as a child. So our inner child is damaged, it's hurt, it's been broken, but we can heal that, if we work on ourselves. And affirmations is one big thing that is really important. I'm the same way. I'm big on affirmations. It's powerful just to say, I am strong, I am capable, I am beautiful. Those are strong affirmations. And it's hard for some people to even say that. It's hard to say, I love me. For me to do that 3 years ago, I cried, and it was like 3 words. I love me. Why couldn't I say it? Today I can say it, and I can look in the mirror, and like this morning, I talk to myself every day in the mirror, and I say, look, it's you that matters. What's on the outside doesn't. So take in, record what's good, and delete what isn't. And that's what I've done with my life, and that's what I see you doing with your life as well. Yes. And I want to do a call out to Nancy. She's in book 3 and 4, and she's here joining us. And she says the reach out and the connection are so powerful. Love what you said about stars. I did put it up while you were talking, but I really want to say that the connections that are being made through anthologies is really mind-blowing. Yes. We are making friendships. We are making a joining, a connection. The dots are, the alignments are coming together, and not everyone will align, and that's okay. We need only the alignment that will get us to where we need to be. But we were put together for a reason. Whether it's a lesson or a blessing, we were all put together for a reason. And that's what I believe. And that's why I believe that I was honored to meet you, and that we connected and we stayed connected, Yes. Because that was 2018, and we're still connected, and we're still checking up on each other and saying, hey, how's things going, And I was really, really honored, Michelle, when you asked me, could I be on Teatime? And I was like, absolutely. I was like, I miss your beautiful face. I want to see you. I want to get to sit down, because this is what Teatime is. Teatime is connection. It's networking. It's getting to understand our stories and why we do what we do. You sent me a beautiful song today that is going to be released September 3rd, I believe.
Yeah, and it's part of an album.
It is truly beautiful. I can't release it to all of you viewers, but after September 3rd,
you would be allowed to play it if you wanted to. I've got permission from Ray Coates, who's the musician, an incredible, talented musician. I cannot say enough good about him. And so if I can kind of just interject, just to share a little bit about him, because he's very important in my own journey, is, just being in very honestly, a Facebook conversation, and Rayanne Gardner, who I've become very close to, is a friend of mine out of the States, and she was doing a song with Ray Coates, and she shared that song, and Ray Coates was giving an opportunity for others to co-write. And there was actually a group of us that came together and co-wrote the lyrics for Our Connection. And that was done during a time where this world was very disconnected. And so we were creating a connection, first of all, in our own little circle, and then together as a larger group, and then out into the world. And that song was released in March of this year. And there's been a remix of that. And then Ray provided an opportunity for any of us that wanted to write again on an album that's the one that's going to be released September 3rd. And I jumped at the chance. And what's interesting for me, I love to speak, I love to write, but I never thought that I would ever be writing words to a song. It just never occurred to me. And so Stay Here, Stay Now came out of a conversation between Rayanne, and myself, actually, because Rayanne was very much involved in the background around this. And it's, to me, a very important message that, you know, we need us to stay. Yeah. We won't save everyone. And so for anyone who's listening, who's lost someone to suicide, my heart, first of all, breaks for that loss. I just want to encourage those persons just to simply be okay, just to love and accept that that was that person's story, their journey, just like I did with Aggie. And for those who struggle with living, let's have a conversation. Let's have a dialogue. I am more than open and willing to have conversation to help others see their value. The chapter that I wrote in the first book that we're in together, the title is You Are Enough. That was said to me by a coworker one day, where she just felt an urge just to speak those words into my life. And that opened a lot of doors for me. And so for each person listening live or hearing the replay later, I need you to know you are enough. You are perfect just as you are. And you are loved. This world needs you. I need you. Miss Liz needs you, because it's all of us together that makes this world the place that it is today and the world that it'll be tomorrow.
I truly believe that too, Michelle. We need each other, right? We can't do this on our own. You know, we need another person, just one person to say, you know what, you are enough, just like that one person did. And look at you, shared, and we became an international bestseller, you know, and then you shared in another book. Could you tell us a little bit on that book as well?
Yeah, so 365 soulful messages, the right guidance at the right time. And that's where I shared my journey of walking through losing Aggie. And I, have found it, I'm not sure what word that I want to use. It's maybe surreal because of the belief system that I had about myself for so long. And all of a sudden being on the other side of the fence of that and having to walk through that. And so again, my message in the 365 Soulful Messages book is the same, of just reminding us, how important that we are and that the world needs us. And for those who choose to end their journeys with different stories, just to love them, accept them, and to release them. Like, forgiveness is so huge. And it applies no matter what part of the equation that you fall into. I've had to, I guess I shouldn't say I've had to, because I don't have to do anything. I've chosen to forgive my mom. Not that our relationship is perfect, but I can look at her today as the person that was created without the attachment of the belief system, because she has her own story. She has had a lifetime of her own life experiences, the good and the bad and the ugly. And my only job is just to love her because she's another human. And so forgiveness is huge. And so I had to walk through that. I chose to walk through that with my mom. I've chosen to walk through that in my own life to be, okay for whatever belief systems I had, and to continue to do the best that I can every day. I never pretend that I've arrived, because every day is a new day and some days are better than other days. But I hope that I stay less in those moments and more in the present and looking forward to the future. And the power of forgiveness for those that go.
Well, thank you so much, Michele, for sharing. So I want to change it up a bit. I
Yes.
want to get into the tea now. What is Michele's tea, and what does tea mean to you, Michele?
So I love what you put for T, and it's teaching educational awareness, correct?
Yes, but
Close?
what is your tea? So if
Yes.
you had to give me a word
Yes.
for each one, what is your tea?
So what would be my words for that? I would say truth, empowerment, and action.
Love it. I love it. And Michele has just shared her past, present, and future with her tea. Truth as a child, empowerment. She's doing that today. She's standing here before us and sharing her story. That's empowering. And action. Your future will be full of action, Michele. Your tea is a very strong tea. And this is why you are here and why you matter. Your tea is going to make a difference in the world. And it is making a difference. One story at a time, one talk at a time. You are part of Woman Talk. And you have shared your story on many stages with Bridget. How has that changed your life?
Wow. Yeah. It's interesting just to even be involved in Women Talk. And I think that what we often don't recognize and realize that there is, whatever your belief system, whether it's God, creator, universe, source, spirit. For me, it's God, and it is the Holy Spirit for me. And in the midst of whatever story or belief that I had in myself, that God kept bringing the Holy Spirit into my life to try and get through to me of the plan that He has for my life. And so somehow, and I don't remember exactly the connector now, but a beautiful woman by the name of Amy Hutton, who I became friends with on Facebook, reached out to me one night and said, "You should come to this event with me. We've been friends on Facebook for a while. We've never met in person. So let's get together for supper and we'll go to this event." I said, "Sure," which doesn't always happen with life, to be able to easily say yes. But something said, say yes. And so I did. I went. I met her for dinner, and we went into this room, and I was incredibly blown away, incredibly amazed as these women stepped up on the stage and were just sharing whatever their stories and their journeys were. And that was my first experience with Women Talk. And Bridget Lessard-Dial, who's the founder of Women Talk, her and I had a conversation at the end of that evening. She had actually been wanting to open a chapter south of Calgary. Well, I live in Okotoks. That's just south of Calgary. And so by the end of the evening, we agreed that we would have a conversation and see where we'd go from that. And that was October 2016, which was a very pivotal time of my life, because 2016 was just when I was starting to awaken and see the value in me through, how God sees me. And so it was funny, leaving the building that night was a blessing, You talk about lessons or blessings. So they had a roadway that was under construction. And so I get on the roadway. I'm thinking I'm heading south. I'm actually heading north. And it was in that moment where I needed to make that decision that either I was going to be frustrated with the moment or I was going to go for the ride. And rarely had it happened in my life prior to that moment that I would just go for the ride. But that night I did. And that in itself opened up doors for me long before even, meeting with Bridget and getting Women Talk Okotoks started in January 2017. Just knowing that if I could just have those moments where I could be okay just in the present moment, that each present moment takes you to the next present moment that becomes a present moment. And so just that foundationally changed a lot in my life with how I was thinking and believing about things, and how, I can, be more willing to kind of step back and be okay and not freaked out all the time, which is kind of my historically go-to reaction for most things. And the first few months with Women Talk Okotoks, being the director, I was able to do motivational moments. And so that allowed me to put back into my life writing, because I had stopped writing for a long time. And also to stand on the stage behind the mic as me for the first time. Now, I'm a theater girl. I've done TV, film. I've played lots of characters and been on stage. But all of a sudden, here was a moment, and I needed to be me. And so this is where I've started to learn about being authentic and real, raw, sometimes perfect, sometimes not, and being okay. And that others probably don't judge me as hard as I judge myself, and being okay. And that's been a huge thing that I've learned through my time in Women Talk. And so even when I stepped down as director in 2019, I still continued to be involved as a volunteer right up to when the pandemic kind of changed the direction of Women Talk. And so, but just keeping that connection and keeping together with the women that come to the stage, because each one of us are sharing journeys that, first of all, will be part of our own healing journey. And then second, will be hopefully to provide messages of love, healing, support, or whatever our audience may be looking for in their own lives. And that we use our life experiences to serve others.
And I have put up the link for Women Talk, because I believe that Bridget is looking for people to share their stories with storytelling, I believe, right? So
yes, and they're going to be doing live events again in Calgary. I believe that Bridget is still planning to do clubhouse events as well. And just watch as the world changes, and she'll continue to pivot, because she believes wholeheartedly in the importance of each of us sharing our stories, and for the reasons what I mentioned a moment ago.
Exactly. And we need to keep sharing our stories. We need those stories out there, because this is where we're going to make a difference. And I do have somebody asking about Sacred Hearts. If you'd like to know about Sacred Hearts, the link is there as well. I've shared it. You can check out the website. Brenda Hammond is the creator and CEO of Sacred Hearts Rising. An amazing lady to reach out to. Her fourth book is coming out in the spring of 2022. If you'd like to know anything more about that, you could reach out to Brenda Hammond as well. And I really am appreciative of everyone who has come into my life through Sacred Hearts Rising, because I would have not met Michele had it not been for Sacred Hearts. I would not be where I am today if it was not for Sacred Hearts. So, and if you would like to know more on Michele's story in Sacred Hearts, please go on to Amazon and get yourself a copy, or reach out to Michele directly. You can get a signed book. I have books as well, but today is Michele's day. It's not my day. So Michele, if anybody would like a copy, please reach out to Michele, because this is what we're here for. We're here for Michele today. And Michele, I want to get back into your tea. When you gave me your tea, you said truth. When I told you what your truth stood for, did that have any impact on you?
Tell me again what you said for my truth.
Your
The
truth is your
statement.
past. So as a little girl, you wanted the truth out. So
Yes.
how does that affect you today, being the empowering woman that you are and the future that you're looking for action? How has your past made you who you are?
Hmm. Every fiber that is woven in the person that I am today is as a direct result of the specific life experiences that I had. And at this point in time, I choose to be filled with gratitude for those life experiences because I would not be me without those life experiences. And so while we often don't have the control over our life experiences or the traumas that occur to us, we do have the choice and the power to bring truth to those trauma events, and through that truth, release the prison that those traumas have on us. And what I recently learned, it's not really the traumas that impact us, it is our response
Yeah.
to the traumas. And so if you can take trauma and replace that with truth, you bring freedom to yourself. You're never going to change what happened, but how it speaks to who you are today and the person that you'll be in the future.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a choice through that. And that's where it ties into empowering. I have a choice to empower myself and to choose to see myself differently than my old belief system. And I don't want to see another life go to suicide if I can help it. And that's important to action for me, to do what I can. I don't have all the answers, but I know what I lived through my life experiences. And those are truths that I want to make sure are loud and clear if they can help someone.
And you see, your tea comes from within. You told me what
Yes.
your tea was. I did not tell you what your tea was. And this is what I do with everyone that comes on Tea Time is I ask you all the same question. Every guest will get this question that comes on Tea Time. What is your tea? Because it comes from within. I can't tell you who you are. I can't tell you how you serve or what you deliver. All I can do is help you spill the tea. And that's what we do on Tea Time is we spill tea. We spill backstories. We spill strength, resilience, inspiration, motivation. And this is what Michele is. She's a motivational speaker, suicide prevention. These are all things that have led you and spilled from your tea because this is who you are. And your tea is a very strong tea, Michele. And I don't want you to ever forget that. And if you do, I can help you spill. I'm
You
good
will
at
always be a part of my life. You are a connected, bonded sister.
and this is what we need to do. We need to start spilling our teas. We need to start taking the mask off and just live who we are. Be our authentic selves. Be raw. Be real and make a difference. You know, your action, Michele, is making a difference. Your story tonight will save a life because there are people out there who are watching. There are people who are listening. And even if you watch on the replay, you know that you're not alone and that you are enough. These are Michele's words. You are enough. Take these words and know. If you're having a hard time, please reach out. Tea Time is an awareness based program to bring awareness to the subjects that need to be spoken on. So, Michele, I really want to thank you for sharing and opening your heart, your story with all of us. What message would you like to give anybody out there who is having a hard time right now?
Don't believe the lies that the world tells you, first and foremost. And that world can comprise of the people that are closest to you in your life, whether that's family or friends or significant others. That can be your community, that can be society as a whole, and that can be the physical world as a whole. That who you are is not defined from the outside. It is defined from what you choose to fill yourself with from the inside. And we don't always in our own selves know how to do that. But I'm here to tell you that it is possible, that you can do that, and that you can find your truth for who you are. We're all here for a reason. We're all here for a purpose. We don't always know in any given moment what that reason is or what that purpose is. But we are, and even when we don't believe it, we need to hold that thought until we can find a way and a place and a time that it becomes internally our truth enough that we can carry on.
Thank you so much, Michele. And for any of the viewers that are watching now or watching the replay on any platform that this program is live right now, if you feel or are in any way scared and in a dark place right now, please reach out. There's hotline numbers all over. I will put them into the comments. I truly want you to understand that you are not alone. And if you are feeling down and dark, please reach out. There are people out there that will help you. Sometimes we just need that one person to listen, like Michele had, who told her she was enough. We just need one person to believe in us. And sometimes 1 second, 1 moment, and 1 cup can make a difference. And that's what we do here is we make a difference by sharing our backstories, by sharing my guests' teas, not mine. Because everyone knows what Miss Liz's tea is. It's teaching educational awareness. My cup is to teach that our past moves to our present and into our future. That's what teaching educational awareness is for me. My story has brought me amazing friends like Michele and Nancy, Brenda, Bridget, and so many more through Sacred Hearts Rising, through Women Talk. If you haven't checked out Women Talk, please check out Women Talk. Please check out Sacred Hearts Rising. Amazing stories from all of the authors. Book 3 also has men who share their stories, so it's not only women. So if you're a man and you feel like you need to hear another man's story, please reach out, grab a copy of Book 3. But again, we are here to save a life, to make a difference, and to be real. That's what Tea Time is about. So Michele, I want to thank you for joining me today on Tea Time. And I really am so excited to see your pretty face again.
Yes.
It is not the
Yeah.
same between text messages and Facebook messages. To actually see your face and to see you smile, it truly is nice to see. And this platform is open to anybody who is making a difference, who wants to make a difference, who is changing lives in your family, in your homes, your communities, and your countries. Tea Time is here for you. And we will make a difference 1 cup of tea at a time. Now, I want you all to keep your eyes open because Miss Liz is coming to you soon, September 18th in Detroit, Michigan. I will be sharing my tea to make your tea spill. I have a lot of surprises coming. I am not coming small, I am coming big. So get ready for that. And Michele, I want you to leave us with the final words tonight. I would like you to, if you can, play your song on your end so that people can hear it. I've tried to add it in. I can't add it in because of the link that you sent me in my WhatsApp. But I would really love for us to end it with that song.
Okay, well, I think I can do a share. And so if you can just be patient with me for a sec, I will grab the link and see how we go with this. I know that it's on YouTube and we'll get the video one.
I just want to let everyone know, the viewers out there, that when I heard this song today, I had happy tears because it was so powerful. Michele, the words they hit home, but they were a happy tear, if that makes any sense, because knowing and being a survivor of suicide myself, and depression and mental health. It really was a strong song. The lyrics are powerful. So that's why I want to end this tea time with that song.
Okay, so
I know I put you on the spot.
that's all right. This gives me an opportunity just to be okay with not, worrying. We'll see how this works here, and we're going to learn together.
And that's what tea time is all about. There's always surprises on tea time. And I really want you guys to check out that song for September 3rd, I believe you said is coming out, right?
Yeah, September 3rd. Okay, and so I'm only getting the not the screen I want to share. So let's stop that screen.
Are you able to play the song on your end?
I could probably, would you hear it if I just play it?
I'm not sure. We can always give that a try.
Okay.
Alberta, Canada. The
Yeah.
song Stay Here, Stay Now is a message of hope. Those who are often feeling that maybe to stay alive is a struggle. My own journey through suicide.
Ever felt like slipping through your fingers? Ever felt you wanted to surrender? Give it all away. Come back to now, sweet friend. Doesn't need to be the end. Stay here, stay now. Things will change. Sweet friend, remain. Come, stay here now. Sweet friend, come. Stay here now. Sweet friend. Was your heart once broken? Your deepest tears flowing out? Did you believe the lies, the stories the world told you? Felt to whisper, you couldn't shout. Come take my hand, hold it. Listen to my words closely, they are for you. This world needs you, sweet friend. And here's the truth, I do too. Come, stay here now. Sweet friend, come. Stay here now. Sweet friend. Walk with me once more along the ocean's edge, dear friend. Let's breathe in our spiritual harmony. Breathe in our spiritual melody. I know sometimes we've lost our way, dear friend, but let's walk in each other's eyes by the water's edge again. Stay here, stay now. Things will change. Sweet friend, remain. Come, stay here now. Sweet friend, come. Stay here now. My sweet friend, come. Stay here now. Sweet friend, come. Stay here now, my sweet friend.
And when
Thank you so much, Michele.
Thank you.
And I would like to thank all of the viewers who are watching and who will watch in the replay. Please know that Miss Liz is here for you, Michele is here for you, and that you are enough. And we will make a difference one cup of tea at a time. And I will see you all on the 27th with a new guest, a young lady from the Philippines that will be sharing on how she started her own business and who is a co-ambassador of the Global Peace Challenge 2020, who I got to meet last year with the project. And we will be sharing a little bit on that as well. So please understand that some days are hard, some days we struggle, but we all can make a difference if we choose to. So stay strong. And Michele, thank you for joining me for tea time tonight.